Good morning, everybody. It's time, week 10, college football here at Odd Chopper, here at Tails. We have got a lot to get to. We're going to have a good time. We are going to talk about all the games. You guys know the drill now. I've been doing this every week. Not only are we going to talk about all the games, we're going to get into some bets, put them on the board live on Tails right on the show. We're going to answer your questions. And then it's become a theme of this show. Maybe we're the only people in the world that can make teasers plus EV, but we are going to run back our Degen teaser of the week. We do it at the end of every show, and we hit it last week. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. We'll give it a couple minutes. People straggling, they pour in little by little, but the stage is set. It's not the best week of games in the world, no doubt about it. We're going to bring up the board. That's Tennessee. We're not going to talk about them just yet. But, at the same time, there's still plenty of things. We've got boosts. Vanderbilt and Texas, big game. The 30% static boost. DraftKings has the builder, I believe, where you get more profit for more and more legs. So we've got a lot of things to discuss on that front. And then there are some lesser known games that I think from a betting standpoint we need to get to. But I'm feeling pretty good. Last couple weeks have been good. Last week, quick recap. Cincinnati, that was the game, smooth sailing. They were up 24-0. They held the lead. All is right with the world. Their Batman, their Robin was Iowa State, who was up 17-7 on the 2-yard line. 4 turnovers later, BYU once again defies all logic. Credit to BYU. They remain undefeated. The rest of the card was pretty standard. Alabama getting there in a Moneyline parlay was a lot tougher than it should have been, but they did get there. Set the stage. Utah absolutely dismantled some teams. All in all, it was pretty good. I was happy with it. And again, we were fortunate to get the teaser over the line, so we're in business there. All right, let's get right to it. We're going to start diving into the games. If you have questions, you guys know you can put them in chat. I see people in good morning, all that good stuff. But let's get right to it because we do have a game right at noon Eastern in Vanderbilt and Texas that not only is one of the biggest games of the week, it's a game that I bet, and I bet Texas. Now, I got it at 2.5, and it was juiced, so it's not that much different than right now. Let's see where it is here. Has it crossed on both sides? That might be because of Arch. It might just be because, again, that's not even that big a movement. 3 at 118. Okay. We've got 3 at minus 118. Got 3.5 at minus 4. Yeah, it's about the same. We'll lay juice. That's fine. I will just put this on the screen and we could talk about it. All right. So we know about Vanderbilt, or if you don't know about Vanderbilt, of course, this is the best team they've had in a century. They've been very legitimate, no doubt about it. The whole year they've answered the call. Pavia has shown that he is a Heisman contender. They do have to hit the road here. Road games. Virginia Tech, South Carolina, and Alabama. Lost by 16 to Alabama. It was closer than that. We bet Alabama in that game, and they covered on a late touchdown. Biggest wins. LSU hasn't aged beautifully. Missouri last week, 17-10 at home. Vanderbilt's fine. They're a good, solid team. This is more about Texas to me. Now, Texas is a fascinating evaluation. One, they've got 2 losses already, so this is it. 2, their season 2 weeks in a row has been on the brink of collapse. They beat Kentucky 16-13 in overtime. Then they go to Mississippi State, and they win 45-38 in overtime. Arch gets a concussion. He passed protocol. Apparently, he's good to go. Texas's defense is still the catalyst for me. I know they gave up a bunch of points last week. They made the plays when they needed to. They were very fortunate to win both those games. There's no doubt about it. But I like Texas today. They're one of the first bets I put in. I still think that their defense, now they're back at home after 2 straight road games. Mind you, it was bottom teams of the SEC. I still do like Texas in this spot. I got it at 2.5. I did, like I said, I think it was minus 122. You could check Tails. One of the many reasons you want to be over on Tails, and we'll talk about that. But I like Texas in this game. I'm not saying that Vanderbilt's not legitimate. They're a good team. But going on the road and beating a team like this, it's a tall, tall task. Now, Texas, this is not what this show is about. Texas has to go to Georgia. And how they're going to win that game, I'm not really sure. But for our purposes, first bet on the board is Texas today. Let's start scrolling. Baylor, honestly, inside 3 is reasonable. Look at this. I mean, it's so ridiculous. This is supposed to be the game of the year, and it's a 3-touchdown spread. Illinois, my guys, the dream has ended for them. They lost to Washington last week. Houston's quietly just doing their thing in the Big 12. They'll have bigger games than this. This could be a teaser piece for us later in the show. We've got Iowa State. Arizona State is falling apart, as I know that they would. Maybe a Moneyline parlay piece for Iowa State. I know, Southern Miss, who is the wagon of the year. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame. We love our guys. Southern Miss, just an awesome team. Unfortunately, today we can't really talk about them, but it's we just got to wait a week, and then we'll talk about them in Arkansas State. I think that's who they have next. Do I have a lean or thoughts for Mississippi and Arkansas? Well, let's talk about it. I don't even know. Probably a 3:30 game. Maybe not. 4 o'clock. Okay. The weird SEC time. So we've got 4.5 at -115, 5.5 at -105. So Arkansas is taking some money. I think that is the side. God, that's so many points. I want to say I'm gonna have to click it. My favorite bet in this game would be over 65.5. These teams do not play defense. I just mentioned Mississippi State hung 38 on a Texas defense. Granted, that was at home. Arkansas has no defense. Arkansas is a disaster. Arkansas is a team that we shorted the entire year. But I still, they made the coaching change, blah, blah, blah. They're in free fall. They've lost 6 in a row. Okay, let's talk about the 6 in a row. Ole Miss, they scored 35 points, and they lost by 6. Memphis, they blew the game. They lost by 1 point. Memphis, who we bet last night, good stuff, is very legitimate. Notre Dame, they gave up 56 points. Tennessee, they lost 34-31 in Knoxville. A&M, they lost 45-42. And then last week against Auburn, they lost 33-24. They are scoring. Their defense has given up 30 or more in all 6 of these losses. I don't think that's going to change. I think they give up 30 here. The difference is they probably win if they give up 30. I'll give you a greasy over. You're going to need a lot, but both these teams have really healthy implied totals. They should. I will call for a lot of points there. If I had to take a side, it would be Arkansas. I know that they have fallen on hard times, but they're still, it's the SEC. These are the ones you kind of have to get, and it's the same for Mississippi State, no doubt. Same for Kentucky, same for Auburn to a lesser extent. But yeah, I'll give you an over there and a slight lean to Arkansas. All right, let's go back to the board, keep scrolling, and then we'll get to some of the marquee games. Trap game for Louisville. Virginia Tech is pretty bad. I backed them the last time they played, and they were fortunate to cover in overtime. It was also a weird game if you saw it. It was during the week against Cal. I would slightly lean to the Hokies, but no. Stanford, honestly, I'm gonna click this right here. I think Stanford has really shown that for a team that is in the dumpster, they're a hell of a lot more competent than I ever expected. I mean, they started their year losing to Hawaii. They've got 3 wins. They beat Boston College. They beat San Jose State. They beat Florida State. Yes, they got destroyed by Miami last week on the road. They are back at home where they've been way more effective. They have the straight. They are 0-5 on the road, and they are 3-0 at home. And now Pitt comes in, a good 6-2 Pittsburgh team. But honestly, what has Pittsburgh done? They beat Florida State. So did Stanford. They beat NC State, Syracuse, BC. So did Stanford, Central Michigan, and Duquesne. They don't have a marquee win there. They lost to Louisville. They lost to West Virginia. Lost to West Virginia on the road in the rivalry game. I still think Pittsburgh's going to win this game. 14 and a hook, I'll take it. This is a game that I have not bet over on tails just yet, but I'm going to put that in momentarily. Let's see if it's straight 14. Yeah, give me the hook right here for 8 more cents. I'll take that. I like Stanford to make this game very competitive. That's a decent spot. And I know I mentioned tails a couple times. Many of you watching probably know this, but if you don't, tails is where you can get all these plays from me and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of other people, and it's all available to you. This is a free picks feed. You come here to Tails, you go to oddchopper.com or tails.bet, and you go to the picks feed. Look at this. Bets are flying in from all sorts of people, all sorts of angles. DFS and Donuts is amazing. There's so many people here, and you can curate it. If you like what you see, you press follow. You get a followers list. So only that. If you want to go explore, you can get to any person who's dropping bets. We have so many people. And if you're like, I don't know where to begin, we'll begin on the leaderboards. Check out some of what's been going on. Shout out myself. I had a very fortunate run, and I was able to get on the board. If you're on a heater, if you want long shot parlays, who's trending, most likes, all the stuff. You could filter by sport as well. So if you're like, I don't care that this person's an NBA specialist, I'm betting college football today, just go to college football. It's fun, and it's a great way to get started. And again, this is all available for you. No clutter, no nonsense. Link in the description. Come check us out on Tails. And when you do, make sure you follow me. Following is completely free. You'll get notifications sent right to your device. I already have my bet of the day. Let's get to the bet of the day right now. Not that. That's soccer. Bet of the day. Yesterday was Memphis. Today is Tennessee. Oh, yeah. Best thing, one-click tailing. So you want to join me? Just press tail. And look at that. All the books pop up for you. One-click tailing on the Tennessee Volunteers. This is the bet of the day. Let's talk about it. So they got SEC clash with Oklahoma tonight. Games in Knoxville. That's huge. Obviously, the spread knows that. Let's not get crazy. This is a team, I think, and I would know because I'm an Oklahoma guy in the sense I backed them a lot this year. I think the curtain has drawn or closed, if there's an analogy, on Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma's out of gas. They fought. Mateer got hurt in the middle of the year. He came back. He's not as effective, and the defense is starting to break down. They gave up 34 points to Ole Miss last week. That's a problem, and that was at home. Ole Miss is an amazing offense. We saw what they did to Georgia as well offensively. I'm still very concerned about that because Oklahoma is not particularly built to get into these back and forth games. Now they go to Knoxville, where Tennessee is always extremely strong. They play a fast tempo, and they score on everybody. They're another team that hung 1,000,000 points on Georgia. It's a hard evaluation, I'll be honest. Aguilar's been awesome for them at quarterback. They have no marquee wins. They have no marquee losses in a bad way. They lost to Georgia, and they lost on the road to Alabama. They probably should be where they are. And so that's a question of how good is Tennessee? Are they the team that couldn't beat the good teams, or are they the team that handled all the bad teams? I tend to think the actual truth is in the middle, but this is a good spot for them, no doubt about it. And for Oklahoma, I simply think they're out of gas. You can read the analysis right on the screen. I think they're really just running on fumes. And you have to hit the road now. It makes it even worse. Most of their big games this year have been at home in Norman, neutral site with Texas. They haven't had to do this a lot. I'm not sure they're going to be able to pass this test. I'm going to bet Tennessee inside 3. It's out there. Shop it. Again, one-click tail it right from Tails, and you're in business. My favorite bet of the day is Tennessee. All right. Probably should talk about Florida and Georgia. You've got the world's largest cocktail party. I like the over. I've mentioned that. I don't think I'm going to bet Georgia at 7.5. If you can find flat 7, maybe you moneyline parlay this with like an Iowa State. That's definitely doable. Florida had the coaching change. We haven't seen them. Both these teams have been resting. Maybe they get a little healthier. It's just not a great betting game, in my opinion. I do think the offenses, though, will move the ball. We just talked about Georgia's defense. They're not that good. They're not horrible. They're playing really good teams. But they have been lit up by several opponents this year. And I know Florida is not the best, but Florida can still move the ball. Also, Florida's secondary is an absolute mess. They've been starting true freshmen back there. Maybe they get a little healthier, but I don't think that they're going to get wild or change the trajectory. People have been moving the ball on Florida all the time. They're not in the swamp here. I like the over in this Georgia-Florida game. Can use 30% boost on DraftKings, bring Tennessee to plus 110. Yeah, I mean, you're not going to go wrong there. 30% boost. You can do that. You can look to the team total. You can look to an alt line if you want to have it even, potentially be a bigger payout. But the 30% boost, the game of the week and whatnot, I'm all about that. Justice Haynes, TD, Georgia money line, Ole Miss money line, Miami money line plus 149 thoughts. Was going to add Lions, Chargers, Patriots money line plus 417. So those big time money line parlays, I think two things can be true. One, they get a bad rap that they're only sucker bets. Two, they're mostly sucker bets. You have to be careful with the juice. Having said that, you can definitely do those in spots and they can be profitable. Now, maybe I'm biased, but a couple of the money lines that you mentioned there, I really like in terms of those type of pieces. Ole Miss being one of them. They're back at home against South Carolina. I do not see them losing. Miami can't really afford to lose this game. I'll be honest, I don't know how good SMU is. Inside minus 400, just try to keep the juice down as much as possible. The third one, Georgia money line. Yeah, I just talked about that. I think that they're going to get it done. I don't see them getting tripped up here. Them and Texas will have their clash soon enough. And then Justice Haynes. So that, full disclosure, I can't bet props where I am at. But just, I mean, your guess is as good as mine. But I'll tell you what, Michigan's going to have a lot of people in the end zone today. I would hope that their backfield has a lot of activity against, where is this game? It's like a 20-point spread, I think. 21 and a half, 48 and a half point total. Michigan's team total is going to be quite high. So I get what you're doing there. I probably wouldn't keep adding money lines just because it's going to be almost impossible to find efficient lines in those ranges with 7 of them. A couple of them, you can maybe overcome it. Not that you want to make a habit of throwing those in, but yeah, that can be an effective build if you do it right. And I have no problem with any of those. My favorite of them is Ole Miss. My least favorite is Miami. Haynes should score a TD. Yeah, I'm with you there. All right, let's keep going. It's not really a great betting card. It's a better betting card than watching. But there's a lot of weird games like Indiana and Maryland today. Texas Tech. This is another potential moneyline parlay piece. I'll give you guys, I told this to anyone that watches the Friday show. If you're watching right now, take a little Sharpie, take a little note. If Texas Tech, if nothing crazy happens this week, Texas Tech, God help us, will end BYU next week. BYU goes to Lubbock. That is an awful spot. Now, I know BYU's resting, so it's not as bad optically as what they did to Iowa State, but Texas Tech's going to handle them. Bet Michigan first quarter minus 6.5. I don't mind that at all. I may tail you on that, actually, because Michigan's going to jump out quickly. It'll probably be 14-0, and then the game will not begin. It's just going to be over because Purdue's just not a good team. Old Dominion, our friends, taking on Louisiana Monroe, who we shorted last week. Liberty and Delaware. Shout out to Delaware for being a very competent team. I like them. Virginia's in trap game mode. I don't want anything to do with this. Oklahoma State's maybe the worst, Power 5 team. We talked about the over there. Maction, Michigan, Wyoming, and San Diego State. That's going to be an ugly game. You have a 10.5 point spread with a 41.5 point total. That's pretty rough. Yeah. Okay, we got Ole Miss. I just talked about them as a minus 460 money line, which, again, what kind of analysis is that? But it is true. Let's talk about them laying 12.5, though. I think you can do that, no doubt about it. 7-1 on the year. They lost to Georgia. Back-to-back road games. How impressive for them to bounce back, go to Norman, and get the job done. Now they come home. They've been a mixed bag, and they've won a lot of close games against, I'd say, inferior competition. A 7-point win against Kentucky. A 6-point win against Arkansas. They beat LSU by 5. That's not that bad. They beat Washington State at home by 3. That is pretty bad. And they beat Oklahoma by 8. That's very respectable. South Carolina's 1-5 in the SEC. They've lost 3 straight. They can't really score. Sellers, he's a real dual threat. We know that, but you look at it. He's got 100 carries on the year for 175 yards. That just shows how many sacks this guy is taking at times. If he can't stand upright, it doesn't matter how electric he is in the open field. He is getting battered at times. So if Ole Miss can generate a pass rush, watch out for them. It's Ole Miss or pass. Very simple for me. I'm going to probably roll Ole Miss into some crazy money line stuff. Colorado, biggest beatdown of the season was last week. They're lucky it was at night and everyone was probably sleeping because Utah was up like 40 points at half and they outgained them by 400 yards in the first half. I don't know what Colorado does here. They should represent themselves a lot better at home, but it's still pretty dire, in my opinion. I'm not messing around with that game. Nebraska, no. Florida State, no. This is another for you moneyline parlay pieces. Auburn, I do like. I also like the over here. I'm going to give you a shout out for over 44.5 in Kentucky and Auburn. These are teams that, yes, are probably defensively minded. I'll be the first to admit it. But of course, we have a very methodical number. Let's talk about Kentucky a little bit. So they're all over the map. You know, they can't really score. They put up 13 points against South Carolina. They put up 14 points against Georgia. They put up 13 against Texas. Then they put up 34 points last week against Tennessee. The thing that killed them, though, was their strength being defense. They gave up 56 points to the Vols. Now, Auburn is not Tennessee by any stretch of the imagination, but Auburn is trying to save their season. I don't know if it can be saved, but if their coach wants to save his future, he probably has to win this game and then start doing some things because they're 4-4. They did snap the losing streak, and it was a brutal game stretch. Oklahoma, A&M, Georgia, and Missouri. You probably should lose all those games, and they lost them by 7, 6, 10, and 6. Then they hung 33 points on Arkansas's dusty defense last week. I think this game is primed, not to shoot out, but for both offenses to play a little more free, a little more up-tempo, and all we need is a little on all these margins because 44.5 is a very low number, and it's priced in for what we know, which is these are two offenses that have struggled in SEC play, but level of competition is different. And as good as the defenses have been at times, we have seen teams move the ball on them. I actually think Auburn's defense is the driving catalyst for the low total. I'm more concerned that Kentucky only scores like 10 points in the game. That could be a problem, but I think they'll be forced to play catch up, and I think they will give us 17 to 20, and that'll be enough for this spot. Already mentioned Tennessee. We're rolling there. Let's look late night. Honestly, if you want one completely off the reservation game, I'll make a case for Troy. I like this team. It's not a team I've bet a lot this year, but not bad, honestly. And the expectations were low, but 6-2. You lost to Clemson and Memphis, won 5 straight. High octane offense, 30 or more points in 4 straight games, hung 48 against Texas State. Now you got Arkansas State coming in, who's been better in conference play. They've won 3 straight. I don't really like what I see from them, though. They still have no identity. It's just a team that when I get teams like this, I do struggle because Arkansas State's got bad data points in there. They lost to Kennesaw. They lost to Louisiana Monroe. Then they beat Texas State by 1 point. They beat South Alabama by 1 point. And then they beat Georgia Southern, who is really down this year. I don't think this Red Wolves team is really built for much of anything. Now, I really like their quarterback, Jalen Raynor. I've been high on him for a while. He's still just a junior. He's got a lot of experience. He's had a somewhat methodical year, 9 touchdowns, 6 picks. I'm still just telling you, Troy is a solid team here. Another moneyline parlay piece if you want to go there. Make sure you shop it. Let's see if this is flat 7 anywhere. No, 7.5 I have 2 places, but we'll see. I still like it at 7.5, though. I think you can do that. This is a team that I have not bet this yet. Could be on the card. Last game for me, and then we're going to build our teaser. Cincinnati plus 10.5. Straight vibes here, friends. I'll be completely honest with you. Cincinnati is just a team I think is undervalued. Simple as that. I think they are undervalued in the market. I bet them last week. This is a whole different situation. It's much worse for them. They have to hit the road and go to Utah. Nobody wants to do that. They're 7-1. They lost the opening game to Nebraska. Sorsby has 20 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's got 400 yards rushing and 7 touchdowns. This is one of the top playmakers in the country. Utah's really good. There's no doubt about it, but they're certainly not invincible. They've got some losses on the resume. BYU just handled them. No, again, Utah wasn't at home, and Utah just destroyed Colorado. I'm just calling for a competitive game here. I think Cincinnati's offense can do enough. It could be pretty high scoring. I do lean over at 55.5. But all we need to do is keep this competitive, and I think we can do that with Cincinnati. They're a team I'm going to continue to buy until the wheels fall off. Maybe it's this week because I really do like Utah. I respect them a lot. But man, this is a good spot to get 10.5. I thought that was a little heavy. I couldn't believe that we were getting double digits, to be completely honest. So for me, I will take Cincinnati plus 8.5. Plus 8.5. Don't take him at 8.5. That's not a real line. Plus 10.5. Okay, friends. You know what time it is? It's time to do a quick review, and then it's time to build this teaser. Here's all these games, and again, if you're looking for what we officially put in as lines move, get over to Tails. Free picks dropping all day. You get push notifications. Look at that. Just posted. Mike, 10693, one of the sharpest, just posted an NHL shot on goal play. I'll be tailing that. You get these notifications so you never miss anything. One click tailing, so you're in with a simple click, and boom. It is that simple. Tails.bet, link in the description. I'm Jazzraz over there. Follow me. I'm nearing 5,000 followers. Come on in. Oh, yeah. Last thing, Breeders' Cup is today. Shout out, Let's Go Mindframe, for anyone that knows what that means. It's time to build our teaser. If you have any suggestions, chat, now would be the time. We're going to make it 2 in a row. I think actually it's 3 in a row, but I don't remember what the teaser was 2 weeks ago. But we've been on a little run with these Degen teasers. I say the same thing every time. Full disclosure. Do not make a habit of betting teasers in general or in college football, especially in college football, especially 4-leg 14-point teasers. That's a recipe for bad things to happen. But we got a little gamble in us, and we're going to do it. Okay. Hokies. Stanford. That's 2. Ooh, God, this is staring me right in the face. I've got to do it. Oh, that feels so terrible. Don't commit 5 turnovers. Do not commit 5 turnovers, and we will be fine. We need one more. I've been clicking Oklahoma State in these all the time. I can't do that here. Honestly, Michigan at 7.5 is really not bad. Ole Miss, even though I don't want to cross 0, I do think they win. Nebraska, Florida State, Kentucky. Could do over 30.5. Another insanely bad idea. 24. I don't want to mess around with them. We're into, okay. Got to make a decision. Houston, Illinois, Ohio State, North Texas, Vanderbilt getting 17. I'm not going to bet against myself. $21.5. Never betted a teaser. Sir, you should probably keep it that way. They're fun as hell. They're so much fun. And as I get the last play in here, all right, you know what? Again, these are all actually I can't do that. It's just that's such a bad idea. It's borderline irresponsible to even suggest crossing 0. So we're gonna just have to go. We're gonna go to Ohio State. Ohio State's not gonna lose at home. Penn State stinks. Here, simple enough. -4.5. All right, we take these 4. We go to the teaser. We do the magic potion. We move it 14 points. Ding, ding, ding. Virginia Tech plus 24.5. Stanford plus 28.5. Old Dominion -2.5. Ohio State -4.5. -125. There we go. Ding, ding, ding. I'm going to put this in momentarily. I will post it to Tails, and you can Get it right there. It's teaser season. We're going to try to make it 3 in a row on the teaser front. Maybe I'll become a teaser specialist. I don't know. Friends, if you have any questions on anything that I talked about, Jazz Raz Bets on Twitter. I'm there. I'm available. I'm going to be hanging out in my Discord all day. I'm going to be dropping bets on tails all day. It's a great sports day. We've got soccer, college football, the Breeders' Cup. There's MMA, NBA, NHL. Oh, yeah, the World Series Game 7. Also, college basketball starts in a couple days. You know I'm excited for that. It's just a great time to be a sports fan. And I appreciate everybody checking out this video and having some fun. Hit the like button on your way out, and I'll see you on Tails. Go to tails.bet. Follow me, and let's make some money today. Good luck. Enjoy the games. See you next week.